of New York come out yesterday and say, look, everybody, don't be scared about doing business in New York, because the only people we prosecute are people like Donald Trump who don't behave well. That didn't go over very well with the investment community because we're all asking each other, who's next? This was a victimless crime. Nobody lost any money. And a judge out of nowhere put on a $355 million penalty. I mean, who's next? So if you think
Kevin,
about
before I don't want to cut you off, but I hear about the so-called victimless crimes, but the laws on the books, falsification of business records in second degree, issuing false financial statements, insurance fraud, conspiracy, and all these different aspects of it, those are actual crimes. I take it your point is that these should not have been prosecuted?
Well, my point is there's never been a case like this in 75 years. Everything you just listed off is done by every real estate developer everywhere on earth in every city. This has never, ever been prosecuted. But here's the real point that people in New York should concern themselves with. You can put your money anywhere. I'm a real estate developer. Do you think there's a chance I would ever take a chance on New York again? New York is turning itself into a flyover state. I have to build data centers now. I'm not going to go to New York. New York has power. It's got fiber optics. It's got Niagara Falls. But no, we're not even thinking about it. We're going to places that have the exact same thing, where we have rational governors that have never done this to investors. This is about New York and its people. If I were in New York today and I was living there, I would ask myself, maybe we should hire better management. Why is this happening to us? Why are we becoming a flyover state? Why are investors concerned about putting their money there?
What's going on, everyone? Saucer Kenny here today, and I want to kind of give my opinions and analysis on the whole Trump situation. Trump, you guys know, has been prosecuted by the New York court system with the Jean Ann Carroll case, Georgia, and another anti-Trump DA, Fannie Willis, who's now facing possible conflict of interest charges, corruption charges, whatever. And it's kind of exposing to me how the left has kind of weaponized the legal system. And they can't deny it. They keep sitting here pretending that, oh, no, this is fair, this is legitimate. Trump is no one's above the law. No one's above the law unless you're a Democrat. All right. And this highlights make me remember a book that I once read called The Authoritarian Moment by Ben Shapiro. I know a lot of my viewers kind of don't like Ben, but I'm the kind of person that if you're right, you're right. If you're wrong, you're wrong. I don't really take personal issue with someone personally. So I kind of want to read a paragraph from this book, and I bookmark it for this video because it just got me thinking about the authoritarian instincts that a lot of Democrats have. And a lot of Democrats, and before I go into it, only Democrats seems to think this is fair. And if you're looking from an objective moral view, you can see that you guys, there's a conflict of interest here. Like you're incentivized to put legal charges, make groundbreaking fraud case, groundbreaking summary judgment on Donald Trump, especially in New York, which is heavily dominated by one ideological view. You can't expect them to have a fair trial. And some people are actually looking at this fairly. Like Democrats seem to not have a mirror on themselves and what they're actually doing. Because if Republicans were doing this, if a heavily Republican area was prosecuting President Obama, the left will be saying the same talking points that I'm saying right here and today. So on the book, I kind of want to highlight something about human nature in this book. And this is one of the reasons why I am a conservative, is that I recognize that human nature is flawed. It's fallible. And the fact that Democrats can't recognize that they're human and they're not like morally superior to other people because they branded themselves a liberal and they're susceptible to this kind of instinct is baffling to me, right? This is the unfortunate truth about human history. Human nature does not change. Because man is a threat to man, human beings seek safety and satisfaction in authority. Because man is a threat to man, human beings seek the possibility of a remolding of man. And this is what Democrats, the left, socialists, communists believe, that they can remake human nature in their image. A remolding to be achieved through the exercise of power. And isn't this not what we're doing? Oh no, even though the statutes are too high to prosecute Trump, let's get him in other means. Trump shouldn't be president. Let's hold back the Hunter Biden story. You see traces of this in the left and how they portray themselves in these institutions. And this is why ideological capture by the left is so dangerous, right? But they don't see their own bias. Human beings all too often trust not in moral authority of God, that which is above man, but looking down benevolently on humanity, providing ethical guidelines for building and fulfilling lives in rich communities. Instead, they look to an earthly authority of a king, a leader, and an institution. It took just a few weeks for spitting the red seas of the Jews to embrace the golden calf. Human beings are ripe for authoritarianism. For most of human history, authoritarianism manifested in centralized government systems, monarchies, oligarchies, aristocrats, and Democrats. This is their true goal, in my view, that they're looking to be the new aristocrats. When you label yourself a liberal, it's supposed to be a signal of status, of nobility. And I think this is what's going on in our culture today. But I digress. I want to look into some studies to kind of back up my argument. Majorities of Republicans believe the investigation into Trump is being conducted unfairly for all 4 cases against them. Right? If you look at the colors, Democrats think it's favorably. You see Democrats. Only 43 of independents think this is fairly. This is January 6th case. And only 16% of Republicans think about that. The classified documents, 41. Look, the majority of people, the only people who have a majority is the Democrats. This is political. The Georgia case, look at it. 41%. Look at the independents. That's all I care about right now. Most independents are not sure, or they see this as being treated unfairly. Right? Hush money case, 40%. Look at this. And when you think about the case with the fraud case that the Democrats are launching at Donald Trump, you think everyone's looking at it favorably? But they want to throw this claim, oh no, nothing to see here. This is not political. Judging him in a Democratic state, using a Democratic judge that's known, that was associated with the Democratic Party, that didn't want to recuse himself, have a bad track record with appeals. This is why Trump is going for the appeal. Democrats want to ignore all this and then pretend that we're making up as we go along. What happened to Trump in the New York is the stuff of Soviet show trials. Show me the man, I'll show you the crime. This is the argument that the left and Democrats are doing. Donald Trump is a bad person, and therefore, since he's a bad man, he must have done these crimes. He must have committed fraud. And then we allow our New York judge to make a summary judgment without allowing Donald Trump the opportunity to defend himself. And anyone who's associated with Trump is guilty by association. This is the kind of show trial that we're pointing to. If the government doesn't like your politics, they can concoct some excuse to steal your stuff and call it justice. But this behavior always have consequences. There's a reason companies won't invest in Venezuela or Cuba. When the rules of law is arbitrary and politicized and property rights are weak, doing business becomes unsafe. And this is what Kevin O'Leary and others are hinting at. Right. And here's an example of the corruption. Mayor Eric Adams have eroded a non-bid contract that will pay a single company $50 million to do a single job, handing out debit cards loaded with potentially $10,000 each to illegals, swarming the cities and sapping cities' resources. So look at the contradiction that New York is doing. On one hand, you want to prosecute a political rival, and on the other, you want to reward people who break government law, federal law, coming into this country illegally. You want to give them money. They're living off of the government teat. You're giving a company money outright, and businesses, you're incentivizing business to leave. So where are you going to get the money to support giving illegal immigrants $10,000 in their debit cards? Where are you going to find the money to send $50 million to companies to support this? Where are you going to find the money to fund all this stuff? If you are a New York taxpayer, why aren't you getting free debit cards loaded with free money? Democrats are so trapped in moronic thinking that they have to care for illegal criminals that they can't fathom why New Yorkers are ticked off and that they're getting ripped off. Sorry, a lot of information here. All right. This is from Zeke Arkham. Nice to know that Kathy Hochul ensures New York owners that they won't be prosecuted for the same thing her and Trish James went after Trump for. So basically, she admitted that this was a witch hunt after one man because of his politics. What makes any of us think she won't ignore that assurance in order to go after someone else? Our government is corrupt. Specifically, New York is corrupt. This is my view, right? So now I'm bringing this back full circle now that you got some of the context that I'm trying to hint at here. That's going to inform some of my hot takes when we're pushing back against this lady, because this lady wanted to debate Kevin O'Leary about the ramifications of the bad policy positions that Kathy Hochul and the New York legal system has done, and create an opposite incentive where business owners will be scared to actually invest in that community. And he's right. I agree. He's right. You're creating incentives where, since the laws are arbitrary, no one knows where the line is. The line is, the line is whatever we say the line is. No one's going to feel safe doing business there. And she's going to push back, and this is where we're going to come in, and then we'll see how this plays out, and I'll give my final thoughts at the end of the clip.
Why are investors
Kevin,
concerned about putting their money there?
But shouldn't you ask that? Wouldn't those people also be saying, first of all, I do wonder how many people take issue with the idea that every investor is engaged in falsifying business records, that every investor is engaged in what has been accused of Donald Trump and the Trump organization. Because there's probably a lot who are saying to themselves, I've never falsified my business records. I know what a square foot looks like. I know what I can ask for and what I have the money to support. So I wonder to what extent that really is true. But on the second point,
so her first point is like, it's just rationalization at this point, right? Because what Kevin O'Leary is saying is that any of the transaction that real estate, because what Kevin O'Leary is saying is that a lot of people did what Donald Trump did. Hey, this is the value of my property. I want a loan against it. I think your property is worth $900 million, Donald Trump. No, it's worth $1 billion. Give me a loan for $1 billion. And then, negotiate. They come to a compromise on a number. And Trump was able to pay the loan back with interest. So what fraud are you talking about? What business misconduct that Donald Trump did to warrant getting charged with $350 million fine that's not going to go to the banks because he didn't defraud anyone in the banks? This is just an excuse for New York legal system to enrich itself off of the wealth of Donald Trump and then ban him for 3 years to conduct business in New York. This is why a majority of Americans see this as a political witch hunt. Why, if you look at on party lines, independents and Republicans don't see this as Donald Trump being fairly treated in the legal system. This is why a lot of people don't. That's why the indictments is not working on Donald Trump. That's why the indictments help Donald Trump. That's why you see a lot of people are starting to support Donald Trump, because you guys are exposing your own authoritarianism, your own inherent bias. You're leveraging the power in the situations you have. You're not ruled by principles, Democrats. You're ruled by power. And because you have the power, you want to enact it. And this is the problem that Kevin O'Leary is pointing out. That who's to say when I do something that goes against your political narrative, your political view, that you won't use the same means to prosecute me? Oh, you let us do it to Trump. Why you're surprised we're doing it to you? That is the parable. The parable is don't be mad at the scorpion for stabbing you, because that's what scorpions do. Don't be mad at a Democrat when they legally prosecute you, because that's what Democrats do. This is the narrative that you have perpetuated in society, Democrats. But you guys don't see it. I digress.
Wouldn't there be many companies who would not want to do business or loan money to people like yourself or investors if they know that they can get away with fraud and there's no recourse to protect them?
Excuse me, what fraud? This is not about Trump anymore. When you get a developer that builds a building and he says it's worth $400 million and he wants to borrow $200 million from a bank, which happens every day, everywhere on earth, including every American city, every developer is an entrepreneur. They shine the light on their building and they say it's worth 400. The bank does its own due diligence, as was done in this case, because they're very good at it. The banks are very good, and they say, no, it's worth 300. We're only going to loan you 150 million. That haggling has gone on for decades. That's how it works. And then in this case, even the bank that was supposedly defrauded testified and said, we didn't lose anything. We want to do business with this guy again. We'd like to. But the judge said, no. Let's penalize this developer for $355 million. And if we're going to do that, let's penalize all the developers all across America. They've all done the same thing. All of them should go to jail, and we should stop building buildings. That's what the message is from New York. Even the governor herself is concerned about what this looks like to investors all around the world. It's not just U.S. domestic. All around the world, people are talking about what happened here. You really think people want to invest money in New York after?
Nope. And look at the gall. Like, look at the idiocy that we just heard from this lady. She wanted to say, oh, it's fraud. That's a narrative. That's a framing. That's a lie. They didn't even see, this is my problem with the propagandist mainstream media. They don't give you the nitty gritty. They don't give you the specifics to back up what they're trying to claim. They just make a broad statement. Oh, he defrauded banks. Dude, bring up facts. Oh, the bank people actually said, no, we got all our money and plus. And we want to do business with him again. We didn't get defrauded. So what was the argument here? No. Judge, politician, never ran a business in their life. They know the actual value of Trump's estate. Because the government disagrees with how you evaluated your assets, what you're willing to sell your assets for, they can send you to jail. They can prosecute you. They can hit you with a fine. This is authoritarianism. You went against their narrative. You went against their belief. We'll come down on you. And now they're putting down. They're doing damage control. Oh no! You got nothing to worry about, New York businesses. Please don't leave, because God forbid the rich leave. The rich in New York State, they get taxed almost 50% of their income, if not 50% of their income. The rich business people are the only thing keeping New York alive. And Kathy Hochul is scared right now. She's like, oh no, if all these people leave, negative shortfall. New York will become a barren state, flyover state that Kevin O'Leary was warning about. Bro, Democrats, it seems like Democrats only understand consequences. I think America needs to wake up and give them the consequences they're looking for. The truckers are here. They're planning to boycott New York. They don't want to send food into New York, because this seems like the only way Democrats learn, when they get a harsh consequence that they actually care about. They don't care about looking like hypocrites. They don't care about looking dumb. They care about, hey, as long as I got what I want, I don't care how this seems to the American people. And this is what it seems to do. It seems like this lady was looking for a spin job, and she's trying to spin what the Democrats were doing as something actually legitimate. It's not. This is an illegitimate witch hunt. And it's obvious to anybody who isn't a Democrat. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. I'd like to hear your thoughts about this whole situation going on with New York. Do you believe that the Democrats are authoritarian party? Let me hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.